Okay.
Welcome back to the Daughters of the Moon podcast. We're grateful that you can join us for another week. And we're super excited because we have one of our Banff Wellness Retreat ladies here, Karen Musgrave. She is part of her own podcast, Two Witches and an Accountant. She's also a healer, a mom, a wife, a teacher, a ski instructor, a dreamer, a traveler, an adventurer, and a lover of all things in life. Over the last few years, she's learned that most importantly, she is an energetic being here to have a human experience. She lives in the mountains of British Columbia and enjoys all the seasons this beautiful earth provides. She's active in various sports and relishes her time with her family, doing activities they love. She has all sorts of life experiences, and each one has shaped and guided her to become a better person inside and out. Even though she loved life, her human experience took her to a dark place. She got to a point in her life where she needed to change. And she's created a Step Ahead Healing. It's a safe place to learn how to return to your truest self. We constantly move and change, and sometimes we get lost in our journey. A Step Ahead Healing is a place where you can start to find your way back. We will work together through courses, meditations, and one-on-one healing sessions to bring you back into balance and finding your connection to something greater. So welcome, Karen. I'm super excited. Unfortunately, Mom can't be on this one, but we're both super excited that you could be on the podcast with us. So welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here and share and talk and just be goofy.
Yeah, well, and it was so nice when we got to go to the Banff Wellness Retreat this year, and we both got to meet you and talk to you. And I think Mom took one of your classes, and it's
Yes,
just
she did.
so nice. So can you tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got?
Sure. Well, how I got to where I am. Um, well, life, you know how life has all these little traumatic events and for us. But when I was 12, my family was in a car accident and my mom and brother were both killed. And so it was my dad and I growing up. Fast forward, I was a pretty good kid. Uh, he might say differently in certain areas, but who knows? That's his to sort out, not mine. Yeah, moved away to school, met my husband who we went to school in Montana and met there because I grew up in Southern California, so nowhere near Canada.
Oh,
Always wanted to take French in high school, and my dad's like, no, you have to take Spanish because you're never going to live anywhere where you're going to need to know French. And here I am living in a country where French is the other language. But anyway, yeah, met my husband. We lived in the States for a couple years, had our first son down there, and then moved to Canada for myself, into Lloydminster, Alberta, where we were part of a family business. And, I was working with the business as well and raising kids and doing my thing. Started What it comes down to is I was a really good runner. I had a lot of feelings that I didn't want to feel. And so I would just push them down, push them down, push them down. And I thought I was trucking along, doing a great job. When my youngest went off to university, my husband was like, I'm really worried about you. Like, I hear stories about women who their kids go off to university and they just something happens, and I'm like, I'll be fine, it's all good, right? So the first year, I had it all planned out. The 8 months the kids were gone, it was like, we're gonna go, and we're gonna do, and we're gonna have fun. And we were gone here skiing, and we were gone to football games in the US, and we just had camping weekends with friends, and we just did stuff and had a blast. And then the second year, kids go off, and I had always wanted to be a ski instructor. So I applied for a job out in Vernon at Silver Star Mountain Resort, and I got it. And my husband's like, well, how's this going to work? And I'm like, well, I guess you're going to commute. So he's been commuting the last couple of years. But that was 2019. And I had already stuff had already started coming up. I was trying to meditate on my own to find my divine team, or you know how things just come across your feeds or something, or it pops up on the internet where you're searching, you know what, I saw this number, what does it mean? And you type it in and then something else pops up. And so I was kind of searching already for help. And I just wanted to connect more with my mom and my brother. So I was looking for that connection. So I knew of a girl here in town who a couple of people had gone to. She's a medium, and they're like, you should go. I was like, okay. So November of 2019, I went to her and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I took a little book that said working on me in 2020. And, you know, what do I need to do? Like, I'm going to get messages from my mom and she's going to tell me what I have to do to start to feel better. And I come in and she says to me, so we're doing a healing session. And I'm like, well, I'm just here for a reading. And she's like, no, I only do healing sessions. I'm like, okay. So she's like, get on my table. She's like, I don't touch you. It'll be fine. And your people will come through. Because she's like, I already get that you're nervous. They won't come through. I'm like, no, it's all good. Well, like an hour and 45 minutes later, like I was sobbing on the table and all of this stuff was coming up. And she's like, you just need to go and get out of here. You need to go to Vernon early, like stop waiting for the haircut. There's people that cut hair there, and just go. And I'm like, okay. So I came back and I told my husband, I'm leaving tomorrow. He's like, okay, can I come with you? And I'm like, yes. So we drove out and, of course, then go through the winter. I'm having a great time skiing every day. I'm instructing, just something that I had wanted to do all my life. I have a teacher's degree, like I have an education degree and a minor in coaching, so it just fit really well. And so then COVID hits and the world stops, but all of my husband's businesses were essential. So he ramped up, and we had one kid that was living in Alberta. The other one was living with us in BC because he moved up to the hill. He went to UBCO, and they said, well, it's going to be shut down for 2 weeks. So he came out with us, and, you know, and 2 years later, we were back to normal. But that downtime, I just kind of started spiraling down a little bit more, and it was like, okay, I've got to do a deep dive here to feel better. And at that healing session that I had gone to, she said, you know, I do a course. I have a mediumship course, and I think you need to take it. And I was like, I've heard that, and I knew I was going to sign up before I got out of here. So it took a couple months for me to get into her course because hers sell out pretty quick. So got into it, did level 1, and then she just opened up a level 2. So I took level 2. And at the end of level 2, I said, you realize you're going to do a number 3? And she's like, I don't know, Karen. And I'm like, no, you're doing a number 3. And by this time, I had already kind of started telling people that I'm a healer. I do mediumships readings. And then it just kind of evolved from there. Meditation, I'm going to tell you, saved my life. It taught me so much about myself and trust. And yes, I do have that connection with my mom and brother on the other side, and so many others. And just the higher levels that there are that you can go to, like where you can travel as a soul out of this human body, but still be here. Like, it's mind blowing to me, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, I started A Step Ahead Healing, where I do courses of my own. I have a 4-week course called The Beginning, where you kind of dive in just to your energetic hygiene, you know, and trying to learn parts of yourself, your old self. Break up with your old self. Have you ever done that, where you break up with your old self? You like right. Okay, you write a breakup letter. Like, I'm done with this. We're breaking up right here so that we can have a new beginning. And you break up with your old self, and then you burn that letter. And it's so freeing to be able to go, okay. And you can then say, well, no, that was my old self. I don't need to do that pattern again. So it's like, helps you recognize patterns, helps you understand your ego, but it's 4 weeks, so it's pretty quick, but it's pretty intense. And then I have a 3-month long course called the Remembering, where we go deep. We dive really deep into your spiritual teams, how to do energy healings on people, your I'm going to be touching on human design now because after the Banff Wellness Retreat, I'm like, what is this beautiful thing called
Right?
human design? And I'm looking at the picture going, this makes sense in my head. Like, I look at a birth chart and I can go, well, I know this, but I look at a human design chart and I go, oh, here it is. Like, it just works in my head. So I'm like, this is great. So yeah, my 3-month course is pretty intense, but it's a lot of fun. Each course that I do, we have a Facebook group. So everybody in that course, it's a private group. Everything's always recorded. I do one-on-one sessions with you. And I think one of the cool things that I do that I learned from my mentor is I invite everybody's energy into my heart at the beginning, actually about a week before class starts. So I get to know you and know your energy, kind of see where you're at. And then every day I check in the morning and at night. And so, I can tell if something's off and I'll message you and be like, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything I can help you with? Which some people are like, huh? But then when something actually happens and I'm like, hey, what does this mean? Like, this is what I'm getting. And they're like, how did you know that? And it's like, because I'm reading your energy.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
that's a cool thing because I have a girlfriend that does that with me. Like we've been friends for a long time. We have a really close connection and she's an energy healer and she will just text me out of the blue and be like, "Hey, you've been on my mind. What's up with you? I feel like
yeah,
something's wrong." And most times I have to say like, it's like, yeah, and even at the times where you're thinking, no, I'm not getting things wrong, then you start thinking about, you're like, I was kind of angry earlier yesterday.
yeah,
Like, okay, there's where she's picking up that energy.
yeah, yeah. Or even that you're just trucking through and you're shoving stuff down, you're like, nope, not going to deal with that, not going to deal with that. But they feel that. You can feel that and be like, okay, what aren't you? Might not be ready for it, but it's right there.
Yeah.
And it keeps bubbling up for you. So like, I'm just here to tell you, just let it come up. It's going to be freer on the other side. Like, it's going to feel like crap as you're going through it, but we're going to get through this. I'm here to support you. And you know what? Let's get through this together. But so many people don't take care of their energy. Like, they don't think of their aura. They don't think about grounding every day. They don't think of the energetic cords that are on everything you touch, every connection you make, every person you pass. There can be that energetic cord. So who's sucking your energy? Whose energy and baggage are you carrying that's not even yours?
Yeah.
And like in my first class, that's a big thing, is like, just start taking care of your energetic hygiene, like every day. It's like brushing your teeth. You can do it while you're brushing your teeth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so I've got those going on. And then last September, I launched a meditation subscription. And so every month I put out 3 new meditations. I send out a newsletter with kind of the energy of the month of what I'm picking up. And all of them are connected with the energy that's happening. Doesn't mean you have to do them in that month. You can do them whenever, but to have the most power and most impact, it was kind of like, if you do these 3 meditations this month, this is what you're going to get. And so, yeah, I have a monthly subscription. If your subscriptions aren't your thing, each month I bundle them. So it's a group of 3. So you can purchase the bundle and download them and take them with you. So if you go to the lake a lot, or you're camping, or you're just, you find one that you're like, oh, I really like that one, you can actually download them and they're yours.
Oh, nice. That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And
So you were talking about spiritual hygiene, which made me think, how do you start your day to be the best and to protect yourself? Do you have your own
yeah,
ritual?
yeah, I do. Every morning I meditate, like before I even get out of bed. I throw my headphones on. I'll either do a guided meditation, or quite often I'll just throw on music and be like, okay, my intention is to ground. And I will always ground my energy, clear my energy. I'll expand my heart and my aura, just kind of check it over. How does it feel? I always ask, what's my intention for the day? Or there's some mornings where spirit has something else in mind that I need to know or do, and off I go, and they just take me wherever I need to go.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's something that's pressing, that I'm like, how do I handle this? I'll ask for guidance on that. Like, just show me, bring forward whatever guide I need. So I'm really fortunate that I can dedicate a lot of time to it, and I love it. Like, it's addicting, and
Mhm.
especially when you're in a really good groove with it, and you're getting lots of connection and lots of guidance, you just kind of keep wanting to get more and
Yeah.
more. And so it's like, oh yeah. But now I can get to the point where I can meditate in the car while I'm driving. Like, I can just let my thoughts, I get the downloads. I have spirit drive with me in the car a lot. They're next to me, and it's like, oh,
Right?
hello.
Like, oh, there you are. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now. So yeah, no, it's been a really fun journey. And I've also, with the healing stuff, I wanted to take cranial sacral therapy for 20 plus years. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I was able to start. And I find that I have my level 1 and my level 2 now. I'm going to finish up with 3 and 4 eventually here. But I find that it's a really good modality to do with energy healing.
Mhm.
Just understanding. I love the human body. I love how it moves. I love what it can do. And I like being able to help people make their body work better.
Yeah, and
So
that makes sense to me, like especially with the way that you've loved sports and the way that
yeah,
you love teaching and being so active and things like that, you can see how you would be attracted to that. And I think that's amazing, right? So, I mean, I know for myself, I have a similar, I meditate every morning and like same thing, right? Like I just have things that I do. I dream journal every morning. I meditate, I ask for them to protect me and you know, to the
yeah,
point that I'm not really getting other people's energy on me. Cause I can
yeah.
tell you, if you don't, well, for myself anyways, if I don't do that, I tend to, they glob onto me. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I just need
They
to,
they do that.
they do. It's like, I'd rather have the spirits than the negative energy.
Yeah, the brighter you shine too, the harder it is for them to attach.
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, I get a lot of people who come and they're like, oh no, I wrap myself in white light every morning. I wrap this around me, and they put it on like a coat. So only they can feel it or see it. And I was like, never ever like limit your light. When you put on that cloak in the morning, you're turning it inside out and you're pushing out to be this big bubble around you. And it can take different colors. It can take on, sometimes it's all white and it has flames around the outside that are green or red or yellow, depending. And the bigger it is around you, the less of that energy you'll pick up,
Yeah.
because it's easier for them to attach to that lower level energy or that low vibration. But even the highest of vibrations can still get attachments. And
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
so yeah,
Absolutely. And I mean, and it's funny because just in this last year, I've heard more and more like healers and light workers and things like that talk about, yeah, because I back in the day, that's what you did, right? You took that white light, wrapped yourself up tight, out into the world you go. And now it's like, no, let's shine that light out and let's,
yeah.
send that to other people and give them love because maybe they need it. And you know,
Well,
that's a
and
good
you
thing.
think several years ago, and I mean, I haven't been at this very long. I kind of jump into things that I like and I go hard so that I advance pretty quick. At least I think I do. But a couple years ago, you couldn't. This wasn't all open and out there. Like the Banff Wellness Retreat, like it's amazing. And they were pretty early on, right? Like it was always, oh, the hippy dippy stuff. So you didn't really talk about it. Now you walk through an airport and you hear somebody having a conversation of, I don't like the energy you're bringing to this. And, you hear so much more about the energy, and people are really waking up and starting to understand that they can feel energy. They just never knew what it was. It was, oh, I can read people really well. Well, what are you reading? Like, yeah, you can read their facial expression or their body position. What they're not telling you, you're feeling in their energy.
100%. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
loved it because I, for the longest time didn't tell anybody what I did, right? I just kind
yeah,
of kept it to myself. And, then I'm at work one day and I said to this guy, I said, yeah, well, I do readings and, I do Reiki. And he's like, you just see his face is
yeah.
like white
Whoop.
and you can just see the walls go right up. I'm like, I'm not gonna read your mind. That's not how it really works. So if
Yeah,
you relax with me because that's
yeah,
we have a different conversation, right? I need your permission and not that we don't sometimes get messages about people, but
yeah, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, don't mess with me.
right.
I'd be like, try it. Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's been really fun to evolve some of the stuff. Like I'm a ski instructor, right? So I'm an instructor and a trainer. I teach new people who want to be ski instructors how to be ski instructors. I take our new instructors. I'm part of a team of trainers, and but I bring the woo woo too. And it's like, okay, guys, like this is the scenario, and here's some things that you can do to help somebody down with this. And if you see them like doing this with their body, this usually means what they need to do this to make it better.
Yeah.
But, if you're working with somebody who's scared, let them acknowledge their feelings. You're scared. Okay, let's feel that. Whew, yeah, let's talk this through. Because a lot of times you just need somebody to listen, and you just need somebody to acknowledge that these are the emotions you're feeling. And I think it's really powerful. And when you can bring that into things that you love, like I have a retreat happening this winter called Soul Seekers, and it's at Silver Star, and it's high level ski instruction. It's women only. So you're with like minded people that want to go out and they want to ski, they want to get better. But we're bringing the woo woo, we're bringing the yoga, we're bringing a meditation. There's some really fun stuff that we're going to be doing, a couple surprises. And with energy, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you have that flow, life is really easy and life is really fun and life just flows, and you are able to be more present. And there's not that resistance that you have of, banging your head against the wall. Why isn't this going? Why isn't this going? Why isn't this going? And so, yeah, it's I have found that with my connection to my team and to the energy of the universe, that I have just been able to heal a lot of parts within me and grow a ton. Like I look back to the person that went to that first healing session, I was like, whoa, I don't even know her anymore. And it's really cool. And then when your friends kind of come on board too, and they're like, yeah, I want to try this, and then you end up having a podcast with your friends and you talk about woo stuff and you talk about life. And so, yeah, no, it's been fun. And the Banff Wellness Retreat was just so exciting because the year before I had gone as a participant. And I was like, I could do this. I could do this. And so I talked to the people I needed to talk to, and I applied, and they called me with, yes, you're going to do it. And I was like, okay. So I did the one your mom came to. I think she came to both of mine.
I think she did, yeah.
Yeah, because she came to my energy basics, or guide to energy, it's called. And I'm doing that one again in October.
Oh, nice.
And yeah. And then I led an hour-long meditation. And so this one in April was healing from within. And when I applied, this is how much I'm trusting spirit through this, because this is like, I wanted speaking, I wanted to take big meditation groups, but it was like, okay, what's this meditation going to be? And I just automatic wrote the application, this is what it's about, this is what it's about, and I hit send. And then they're like, you got it. And I'm like, what did I say I was going to do? So I have to go back and look. And then I'm like, okay, I've got 70 people in the room. Like, I'm going to lead this meditation for 70 people. And I'm like, okay, spirit, what is this going to look like? Like, what, please, my ego, my humanness needs to know what this looks like. Just give me a glimpse. So usually like a month out, I'll just settle down one morning when I know I have time, and I'll start grounding, and then it's all of a sudden I'm into it, and they're showing me exactly what it's going to kind of be like.
Yeah.
And then once you get into the room with 70 people, like, I'm feeling their energy and just channeling. When you channel meditation, you have no idea what's coming. And so it's always a surprise. And like, even after the one in Banff that was healing from within, and it was all about like just breathing and feeling your own body. Like, emotion gets trapped within the body, and it manifests itself as pain for you. So if your shoulder is hurting, okay, well, is that truly where it is? Let's follow that energy, and you follow it through your body if you can, or just focus on that area. And it's like, okay, what is this? Is it old? Is it new? Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? What emotion is it? And, and you just listen, or some people see or hear, and you just go, okay, it's anger. Oh, what's this anger that I'm holding? And you don't always have to know, but even acknowledging it, all of a sudden it starts to dissipate. You're like, you know what, this isn't serving me anymore, so I want it to go. So yeah, it was pretty cool to have people come up afterwards and they're like, wow, that was really crazy.
Yeah.
And,
I think I did do the meditation one, and it was really,
yeah,
I think I was in that one, but
yeah,
it's hard, right? Because there's so much there, and so much, like, and when I went the first time, I went on my own, and I said to my mom, okay, no, we got to do this. And then when we came back, I was so enthralled with it. I'm like, how do I bring this on a local level to share this with people? And so it was funny because the girl that's kind of helping us a little bit, she's like, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know yet, but I'll get back to you. Actually, I think I'm going to teach people how to create oracle cards and use their artistic ability to draw their energy out. She's like, oh, I like that. I'm like,
yeah.
where the hell did that come from?
Ta-da!
Thank you. So, right,
Awesome.
I can totally relate with what you're saying, because when we stop and listen, I think even people on an everyday thing, if you actually stop and listen, you realize how much they do channel through you, even when you're not expecting it.
Yeah. And it comes up over and over. And finally, when you're ready to hear it, and you're like, oh, and then you start thinking back and you're like, well, that's been coming around for a while. They've been trying to get me, okay, I guess I'm ready for it now.
Yeah.
And that's that good old divine timing, right? Like, okay, now she's ready. Let's really push it. And yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I find a lot, like lately anyways, especially, so I know that I'm kind of opening up a little bit more in a different way, because just I'll hear something like when you said cranial sacral, and I'm like, okay, clearly I need to look into something with that, whether it's I need it myself or that's a path for me to go down, because I've heard it about 10 times in conversations in this last month. So I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, I get it.
Well,
I got it.
you can book an appointment with me. I'll do a virtual appointment with you in next month, and and see if you like it, because
it is. I've had it once and it was amazing, but it's just, I find so funny now that I've really been starting to pay more attention to some of that stuff where I didn't before, like, listen to the guides and I listened to, my team and stuff like that, but I didn't always listen to the synchronicities. And now it's like, okay. This is pushing me. This is pushing me, even with my job, it's like, I can feel that push. It's like, yeah, this is what you're doing because pragmatically, this is paying your bills, but this isn't what you're going to be doing forever. So get ready, girl.
No. Did you do the human design one?
I did, yeah.
And what were you, just out of curiosity?
Projector.
You're a projector. Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by projectors. It's so funny because they're like 20% of the population, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like pulling everybody in my family. I'm like, projector, projector, friends, projectors. Like my husband and I are both emotional manifesting generators. And
Oh, wow.
I'm much more the manifesting side of it. And he's a really good combination of both. But as the manifester, I kind of go with the energy and just do what feels right. But in the background, I have all that power to start and finish things.
Yeah.
And so it's he kind of laughs at me. He's like, "Oh, is the energy not right?" And I'm like, "Nope, not feeling it. I really got to feel it to do it." So
Right. That's funny. Well, and it
that's
was so
fun.
funny because after we went to the wellness retreat, we went to Bragg Creek, which is where my son is from, and
Oh yeah.
we were telling him about the human design and some different things of the thing, and he's like, well, how do I find out what I am? So I told him, so he looked it up and he's like, I'm a projector. I'm like, of course you are. He's like,
Yeah.
and it says that I'm a hermit. I'm like, no doubt. Because he's right. He loves being alone and he loves his own space. And I was just, and then he delved into it. So I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it since then, but
Oh,
it
that's
was just
fun.
funny how it just like interests him so much. But
Yeah.
you can just see so much of yourself in it, I think, when you're doing it and the people around you.
Yes. And I think when you understand, like my son, my oldest is a projector, my oldest son is a projector, and I was like, uh-huh, okay, this makes total sense. And so I'm saying to him, like, you have to wait to the opportunity to share your knowledge because you see the systems, you see everything and how it's working. And but if you interject and you tell them too soon, then they're not going to be happy with you and you're going to feel resentment.
Yep.
And his partner, she's like, really, is that what he does? And it's just like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And so we're talking about it. And but when you understand that, like, all of your open centers, you magnify that, like, that energy when you're around somebody who has that dominant center.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so yeah, I have projectors. He's this in my life, and he actually, I think both of his energy centers that are lit up are the ones that my husband and I don't have.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and my youngest is, he's a pure generator. Boom, just put me to work. Got to
Right.
do my thing, right? And I loved at the retreat because I sat in that one. It was, this has been our marriage counselor for the last 9 years, and I'm like, interesting. And I mean, I went home from there. I bought I had talked to Hillary after and said, okay, I need to learn more. And she's like, read this book. So I read that book. Then I downloaded another book and read that. And then I'm like, okay, no, this is, and I've used it in my classes. Like, I have people pull it up and say, okay, this is what you are. Like, see this little thing here, this little graph shows you like where your strong points are and where you can grow in these other areas. And
Yeah,
so
I
it's
really loved how when she talked about it too, she was like, just because you have this negative stuff,
yeah,
it's like instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so negative," it's like, "No, no, let's use this to, advance myself to be able to
yeah,
do these things, right?"
this is who I
And
am.
I can feel totally the invitation because there is time I often don't interject things very often sometimes, but mostly I
Yeah,
don't because yes, when I do jump in ahead of time and somebody backlashes, it's like, ooh, it just hurts right in
yeah.
your heart, right? It's like, okay, it's going to take me a couple of minutes here to get back into this conversation because I feel like my feelings are hurt because,
Yeah.
right? And all I
You
was
didn't hear
doing
me.
was,
I'm trying to make it easier for you, and you didn't hear me. It was like, we weren't ready to hear you. Okay, Kim.
right? Just wait.
Just wait, hang on.
So now I
So,
usually say to the people that I love and are close to my granddaughter, because we raised my granddaughter, and I'll often say to her, if you want my help or you want my advice, then come to me and I would be happy to give it to you. If you don't want my advice, you just want me to listen, you also need to give me that direction, that's what that's what you need from me, because I need you to tell me.
Yeah.
And she's a manifesting generator, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And as a manifesting generator, she's here to show you the steps you can skip.
Yes.
Right? Like the projectors put all the systems in place, and then the manifesting generators come along and go, oh, we don't need that step. We can just go right over to here. But no, we need that. No, you don't need that step. It's not going to change when we go to here. So yeah, it's so cool. I love it. I think it's just, there's just so much out there. And like, I kind of wrote down before we started, like all the things that I've got going on, and I do a lot of things, but that's the generator in me, right? Like I've got to get that all out, the creative side, the manifesting, and and I love it. And when I don't like something, it's a hard no.
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope, nope, not doing that. But there is so much, and we can just advance and learn so much as souls. And I think right now, with this such a shift in the energy in the whole collective, the whole world is changing. And I mean, what used to take 20 years is now only taking 8 years. So you think about the kids that were born 8 years ago, they're already behind the kids that are being born right now.
Yep.
Like the way that they're programmed and the way that they are designed, basically, right? Like they think differently. And the parents' minds that have had to been rewired after all these decades, right? But there's always things that we can keep learning. And I think that it's just going to open up to more and more. And I believe that it comes down to the more you know yourself and understand your own energy, understand how you operate, how you are connected to something bigger that is helping guide you through this experience, man, life just gets easier and more fun.
I agree. I agree with you with that, because I think it's so important to know yourself and to know, like I journal a lot because
Yeah, me
I
too.
love that, right? And I sometimes I reflective journal, sometimes I just journal about my day. It just really depends. But I think there's just such a interesting thing with that, to be able to find yourself in there and find those places that you didn't even really know existed, and deal with
Yeah.
them on a different level, right? Because healing's such a cyclical thing that you're always meeting it back up to say, oh, wait, I thought I dealt with that. Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, now,
Oh,
but I'm
the
at a
onion.
different, right? But I'm at a different level now. So now it's, it doesn't
It's
impact me
coming
the
back.
same way. And I love that. Like, I love that kind of thinking behind it all.
Well, and right now, I don't think when this is going to air it is, but like Saturn is retrograde, and that's like mastering those karmic lessons, right? And so right now there's all this old dumpy stuff that you've just thrown behind you, and you're like, nope, just giving that back. And it's like, whoa, come back here, I'm going to kick you in the butt and we're going to
Yeah.
finish this and deal with it. And so yeah, I think having that awareness too, like again, there's so much stuff, but like the planets and where they're sitting, the moon, how it changes every 3 days, and that energy is different every 3 days depending on what you're sitting in.
Yeah.
And like I do on Instagram, I have a daily guidance where I channel the message for the day. Well, I was just telling you that I was off the grid for about 5 days. So I used to like plan ahead and like feel into that energy, write something and then post it, but schedule it to be posted. But now they've come out with, oh, you have to have the business side of this, or you have to have it. And it's like, no, I'm going on vacation. See you in 5 days.
Yeah.
But
and I think you have to honor that too, though, right? Because
yeah.
we all
Oh, yeah.
need that time to regroup. And it was really funny because we're going away camping for 2 weeks, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice.
Because for me, it's just such a reconnection with myself, with the earth, with the right.
Unplug. Yeah.
And I had accidentally booked an interview, and then I feel guilty, right? So I'm like, oh, can't. And I finally said to the lady, honestly, like, I have I have a scheduling conflict. Like, can we just, she's like, oh yeah, right. Like, it was no big deal. And it was like, why wouldn't I honor myself that way? And I think
Yeah.
so often we don't do that for ourselves, right? And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
a
Well, and
learning
I
thing.
think, yeah, it's a learning, but every morning when you sit and you start to journal or you're meditating or you're grounding, like that is taking those 5 minutes to be with yourself or 10 minutes or an hour, whatever it is you take. And just being in the moment is something so many of us don't do. And so when you can learn to be in that moment, because that's really all there is, it's like, oh, I'm finding joy in this moment and I am finding, a lesson. You're able to spot things. You're able to work through emotions, as you sit up in that tree and you're like, oh, this just happened. I'm going to observe this for a second. Whoa. Oh, self, we're not doing so good regulating this. Why is this happening? Like, why did that trigger you? And just having that awareness, because man, when you can let things go, I don't ever want to carry 36 years of junk again. Like,
No,
nope,
nope,
no,
me neither.
I don't want to carry anything I've picked up today. It's like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm leaving that when
Yeah,
the day
yeah,
is done, this day, that's done, right? Yeah, I
yeah. Set down that
absolutely
suitcase.
understand that.
So yeah, no, it's been a really good journey. It's been when you find that it's only you that limit yourself, when you look at people and you're like, oh my God, I see so much potential there, but you forget that we see it the least in ourselves. And
Mhm.
so because you don't know yourself, you're dealing with all of these conditioning and belief systems that aren't yours. And when you can start to work through that and you start to look in the mirror and you're like, wow, I really like this person. I like what I see. And everything that's happening on the inside is radiating to the outside. And you're like, oh, wow, you know, I look damn good today, and
Right?
it's just really, really good. And
It does
and
change
and
your
then
perspective.
it does. And then living in that moment, it just makes it all that much better. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I would agree with that. 110%,
yeah,
because,
right on.
I think that's the thing, is we fill our minds with so much crap that we, can't hear those things that we need
Mhm.
to hear. So I think, it's important to remember that. So I'm glad that you mentioned that to everyone. And if you had a final word or a piece of advice, something that you would like to leave with everybody, what would it be?
You're not alone. You don't have to do this alone, and you aren't alone. There are so many people that love you that you don't even know. And take the time to get to know yourself. Find your person that's going to help you. Take the course that you want to take. If you don't have the money will show up. Like, just do something for you. Take pride in you. Honor yourself, like you said earlier, right? Like, get to know yourself. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself in this life, is to know you and be the best you.
Yes, I love that. Thank you. That's a
You're
wonderful,
welcome.
wonderful message to leave everyone with. And so then, can you tell everybody where to find you?
Sure. My website is www.astepaheadhealing.com. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at A Step Ahead Healing. And that's pretty much the places I'm at. Oh, no, there's another one. Well, our podcast, oh, they're going to kill me. Our podcast is Two Witches and an Accountant. And it's me, the medium, Robin, the Reiki master, and Candace, the accountant. And we're three friends that just talk. It's fun. If you're a skier and you want some lessons, or if you've never skied and want lessons, you can find me at Silver Star Mountain Resort. So
Okay,
that's where you can
wonderful.
find me. Yeah.
Or the Bath Wellness Retreat
Or the
sometime.
Banff Wellness Retreat. Yeah, I'm there too. I got
I always like
swimsuiters
to
and
plug
everything.
them, just because, like,
Oh, I know.
I just love
And
that place so much. And I've just met so many, well, yourself included, so many interesting people. And I love how when you go, it just, there's so many like-minded
yeah,
people, and you just are always learning something. So I just Adore
Yeah,
that.
we're so excited. The fall retreat sold out in like record time. So it's sold out. And so if you want tickets for next April, if you're like, what is this Banff Wellness thing? They go on sale. I think it's January 2nd, 1st or 2nd, they go on sale. But if you sign up for the newsletter, you get early registration.
Yes, I do.
So yeah.
I got that in my back pocket.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
but
So,
But
well, thanks for
well,
having me. This is so
yeah,
much
thanks for
fun.
coming on. I really appreciate it. And sorry, Mom couldn't be here, but next time.
Next time, absolutely. I'd love to
We'd
come
love to,
back.
we'd love to have you back. And I think the more that you're learning and delving into, I think the more
Oh,
conversations we can have about some different things. And, I
yeah.
think there's always stuff to learn and share, and you're just a delight to talk to.
Oh,
So thank you so
thank
much for
you. Yeah.
joining.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. And everybody else, we will see you next time.